There we go. Now you guys should be able to hear me from there. I'll turn this music down. For some reason, I thought I had everything mapped out, but you guys should be able to hear me now. Let's see. No sound, no sound. All right, should be good now. I did not realize that I had the mic here turned off, but you guys should be able to hear me now. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Now I know you guys can hear me. All right, let me make sure that that is closed. All right, perfect. Now that I know you guys can hear me, what's good, everybody? Gang, gang. All right. I had my mic muted the whole time by accident, so I do apologize for that. Clear. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. Thank you guys for your patience. I do appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys letting me know in advance that my mic was muted. Unfortunately, you can't hear me perfect. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys. Yeah, my mic was muted, so I apologize. Let me make sure that I sound decent for you guys. All right, yeah, you guys can hear me perfect. Okay, should be good. Let me just double check, make sure everything's solid. All right, good. All right, I just want to make sure before we begin the stream that everybody's solid. So, been a while. Hope all is well. Edward was good. Yes, everything is good. What's good, baby? Asia, I appreciate you. Shannon, I appreciate you being on as well. So today is before. I'm not going to keep you guys waiting. I gave a whole introduction, but I was muted the whole time. But yeah, what's good, everybody? Good afternoon. I know it's a very weird time for us to be jumping onto a session and be jumping onto YouTube, but it is actually very beneficial for us to jump on a call at this time because the markets are starting to wake up and we are getting a lot of volatility. And I do like to trade NAS 100 or NQ futures a lot. I day trade futures heavily now. Forex is still very much the mainscape, the main thing that I am trading, but Forex futures is really good, and I do want to take a look at this before anything as well. I will be taking a look at Forex markets and taking, marking those up in a sense where you guys can use that information for your own due diligence research and make sure that you can get that information for your own trading as well. So before anything, what's good, everybody? I appreciate you guys being on. If you guys can, do me two favors, two quick things. Since I am going to be doing these consistently, I'm going to be giving back as much information and value as I possibly can, and obviously profits, right? I know there's a lot of YouTube channels that you guys can follow. I know a lot of individuals go live, but what they lack is, I would say, the ability to really show you what is needed to become consistently profitable on your own. And I obviously do help students, become profitable with or without the knowledge, but I want to make sure that I take this time to give back as much knowledge as I possibly can to this community. So if you just do me 2 quick favors, just like the video, that'd be great. And obviously share this with any individual that you think could benefit from this, especially with the way that I teach and the way that I approach the market. It's a very simplistic manner, especially if you've never been in a call with me before. It is a very simplistic manner, the way that I approach the market. So I really want to make sure that I can teach somebody or give back any type of knowledge, or if somebody was to join the session right now and they left with anything like, damn, I learned that from Jay. So that's really important for me. So if you can, that'd be great. And we'll get started. So what's good? No sound on my side. Okay, I can hear. Okay, perfect. I was scared for a second. I was like, damn, did my shit just break on me real quick? All right, so real quick, I do want to take a look at NAS 100, and then I'll take a look at anything that you guys would like to see, and I'll obviously mark up some charts as well. If there is any questions, feel free to ask. I am taking a look at the chat. If there is any specific markets that you would like to take a look at, also feel free to let me know. I definitely want to make sure that I'm speaking on relevance and things that you guys could take note of, learn from, and really, profit from. The whole thing about this is being able to profit. We're not just trading because it looks cool. It's not because, we're trying to be cool. We're trying to be the in crowd. We're trading because we want to make money. And before we even make money, there's building blocks. There's a structure and a discipline that must be followed in order to be consistently profitable, right? And when you have your trading strategy, you need to follow those things. And I'll kind of show you those things as we continue. All right. So the first thing, again, I do want to take a look at is NAS 100. Now, the reason why I'm taking a look at this is because myself and legacy students were always trading the NAS futures, or NQ futures rather. NAS 100 being if you were just trading Forex. And you could enter these same trades that we trade in futures in your Forex broker. We actually do have a student. She does not have a futures account. She has just been placing her trades on a Forex broker, and she's been capitalizing with some really good wins based off of the fact that we're trading such low time frames, like the 1 minute time frame. Our entries are pretty accurate in the sense of our risk to reward. So when she's able to place that trade, she's catching pretty much the entire move in that market. So works out pretty nicely for her. So I do want to take a look at some of those things here. So first and foremost, we can obviously see when we scale out to a high time frame, such as the weekly here, always want to scale out to a high time frame. You always want to get the bigger picture, right? The bigger picture is always the best idea. So the bigger picture here is obviously that we are bullish. We're extremely bullish. We can see that buyers have taken over this market since last year, even actually October of 22, right? So 2022, we have had this bullish rally, and we can even see here where we currently are. This is the current market price, or not current market price, but current market standpoints, if you will, right here, right within this candle, because we're on the weekly time frame. Right now it's Thursday, so we're going to see a lot of action within this candle. But the one thing I am seeing is 2 things. Right now, this market has been making historical highs. It's never been to this price before. So since it's never been to this price before, there's nothing left. There's nothing to the left that we could look at to really gauge this market and see if there's any structure that could be found that could potentially give us a reversal or a bearish move, at least not on this time frame, or at least not what we can see here. But when we scale down to smaller time frames, such as the daily, we can see a little bit more action, a little bit more detail, right? So what this is called is simply an impulsive move. So after an impulsive move, what happens? What happens after the market's buying extremely heavily and doesn't want to buy anymore? A potential correction or retracement, right? Something that we can notice, especially on a higher time frame, but based on a higher time frame, if we get that corrective move, that's a pretty big move, right? That's a pretty strong sell, at least to the downside, because in order for us to identify the next, I would say, relevant buy, it has to buy from a significant level of structure. And I would think that's right there. Right? I would think it's here only because that is where last level of resistance was, the last actual structure, where if we replayed this really fast, we can go here and see that when this market started buying, this market was buying heavily, but once it reached that point, we saw a rejective move. We saw a strong sell-off. And again, we're on a big time frame being the daily, so that sell-off is pretty extensive. And then what ends up happening? It broke out of that level of resistance with a bearish or a bullish engulfing candlestick, excuse me. So with that bullish engulfing candlestick, that's telling me that buyers are still very much in control and taking over, and we should be looking for the continuation to that point. Also, that level of structure is important, right? Anytime you are trading, please understand that when you're trading, okay, I thought we had another I can hear things. Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate you guys. I'm just checking the comments, making sure that you guys are good. See, a lot of you guys can hear now. No, that was completely my fault. My mic was muted, so my bad. But again, right now, with this being the most relevant level of structure being here, so we'll actually just write this out real quick. This is going to be considered most, I would say, strongest structure. Just strong structure. No excuse on my spelling. If I spell anything wrong, I have my contacts in. So if I spell anything incorrect, that just means I'm not that intelligent. But what we can see right here is we have a strong level of structure. So again, even though we're in a bullish market, this can give us the opportunity for a pullback, a retracement, a strong sell-off from that area, at least back down to this point here. Obviously, if it's broken through, if it does something like this, then we look at the next structure point. But we can't go that far. We have to identify what's the potential opportunities that we can grasp right now. So what I do think is, and we can actually just use some more confluence being our Fibonacci retracement tool, swing low, swing high, and we make that perfect. We can actually see that's right in between or right at that 618 fib ratio. So now we can cheat a bit. This will be our entire structure as far as the trade could be potentially made. So this will be the strong structure being that we are trying to identify for buys. But even though we're looking for buys in this market, doesn't necessarily mean that's the only opportunity that we have. Yes, we can add our trend lines, and we should be going in the direction of the market, the trend, right? That is an accurate trend line. You can see the base, your secondary, and your trigger. The trigger being the third touch of the trend line, confirming it, showing you that that trend line, if again met in history, can be placed or used as a confluence for a potential entry. So I'm just going to delete those real quick. I like to just keep my charts as clean as possible. So again, even though we're looking at strong buys, we're identifying the overall market, but the detail is showing us that a corrective move can be happening, at least back down to this strong structure. So up until that point, we should be looking for potential sells. When we scale down to smaller time frames, we're identifying that even more. So I'm just going to delete everything, and we're starting to get a little bit more information. And as we scale down to smaller time frames, you are going to see more structure, you see more detail. Yes, this could be used as a structure point, but it could also just give us the idea that if it hits this point, which I'm expecting, can give us a corrective move before another push down. So all this is showing us, and real quick, another indication, an early indication, is this evening star candlestick pattern here on the 4-hour time frame. Now, if you don't know what an evening star candlestick pattern is, just simply Google it. It's one of my favorite reversal candlestick patterns, if you will. Evening star, very self-explanatory. Evening meaning it's nighttime, should be going down, sun's going down. So you should be looking at a potential reversal, and the biggest thing that you're looking for after that, and again, all I'm doing right now is just identifying the idea that, or trying to confirm the idea that what we saw on the daily is a corrective move, and now we need the other time frames to confirm that idea too, right? The daily could tell us a sell or a potential sell, but we need the 4-hour, we need the other time frames to tell us the same thing. And now when we scale to the 4-hour time frame, we can see that that evening star candlestick pattern, and we can also see further confirmation of our bearish engulfing candlestick there. And you can also see that we have a break of that level low. So the break of that level low is giving us two things, right? It's giving us the idea that sellers, yes, are in fact in control. And if anything, even on a smaller time frame being the 1 hour, the 15 minute, this could be used as a retest point. The 2 points rather. I'll show you both of them here in a second actually. But we have a retest point, meaning that this could be entered as a sell if the market ended up correcting from there lower. Or we actually have another point up here, which will scale down to the next time frame being the 1 hour. So you can start to see the bearish reactive moves from this entire point. We can actually mark this up here as our next potential sell area. So all I'm doing right now is just identifying NAS 100 as a whole, because again, since I trade NAS futures and I'm going on sessions and telling students what to trade, whether it's buys and or sells, I need to understand the overall direction of this market, because the bigger idea when trading is trading the direction, the trend, right? What's the one thing we always hear that we're always tired of hearing? The trend is your friend. Yes, it is very annoying to hear, but it is the most truest aspect of trading that anybody could adhere to. So For me, seeing that Nas 100 right now is, especially right now, it has not created a higher high. Usually this market has just been creating higher highs and higher lows, which are just clear indications of buyers still in control. We have finally created a higher high for sure, but we have now created a lower low, meaning that we have broken below this area of structure. That was the last previous lows. We have now created a new low. Now, given this candle has not closed yet, right? If we just identify the actual structure, that candle has not closed yet, but we still have what, 8 minutes left until it does close. So it's very unlikely within the next 8 minutes for this candle to close above this level of structure, because if it did, that would just confirm that sellers may not be taking control and buyers may still have power. But right now, it does seem as if Nas 100 is looking for continued sells. Now, to be honest, if I got any legacy students on here, you got your trading platforms open, that'll be pretty good, because we might be able to identify a little entry here. You know what I mean? There might be an entry here for a sell for you guys if you're trading futures. Now, obviously no entry on this just yet. So I do have my entire setup here, so legacy students, I will make sure that I tell you the trade if there is a trade placed, because I do have like things just all over the place in front of me. I know you guys see this, but I have like my laptop, I have different screens. So making sure that if there is a trade, legacy students, I will make sure that there is a potential signal for you guys. I'll make sure that if there is a signal too, I'll put that out for you guys in the future signals. And what's here in the Discord? YouTube, yes, for my man Gabriel. My man, hopefully Gabriel, if you're here, let me know so that way I could see if you're good. Let me see what we have in the chat. I've been waiting on sells. So for the Mommy Muscles. So if you were waiting for sells, where are you looking for sells here on Nas 100, I'm assuming? Those sells have already started. I mean, obviously, if we look at this, I'll get rid of the Heikinashis. Those sells have started, especially since we have already broken a low, right? Anytime you create, especially, let's look at this. Let's actually go back really fast. If we look at this, before the sells even started, this market has just been creating higher highs and creating new record highs. And we should not have broken, if buyers wanted still to be in control, we would not have broken this low. We would not have had such a sharp sell-off, especially with that type of volatility on a no news, no fundamental day, just a random Thursday. So I do think that sellers are way too exhausted. So if you're looking for sells, those sells have started. Now, you're not, if anybody's like, but Jay, we missed the sells, the sell started from all the way up here, I promise you, you have not missed anything. This is just the very tip of the iceberg, if you will, especially if anybody trades Bookmap or use Bookmap or you understand a little bit of jargon. This is the iceberg, whereas the tip of the iceberg, where yeah, on the outside on the water, yeah, it might look crazy big, but when you look underneath the surface, it's even bigger the possibilities of this trade could have for us. So I do think, especially with such a strong impulse, just like we looked at on the higher time frames, when you have such a strong impulse, what happens? You get a corrective move. We're starting to see that corrective move even now, right? Look at the wicks of this candle. The wicks here are showing me one of two things, or a few things rather. So let's write this out. Wicks equal rejection. That's super important that everybody understands that. And also what I want you to see is wicks equal rejection at significant price points, right? Price action. You're going to identify the most relevant level of price, and you're going to identify the actions that happen at that price point. If we look left to get right, what can we see? It did. Oh, I thought it might have came down a little bit lower. Okay, I'm a little bit off. I'm a little wrong on that. I thought that this wick here that we're looking at current came back and hit this level of structure that I'm looking at here perfectly. It did not. At the time, it did. What I was looking at, it kind of did look like it. Not quite to the zone down here that I'd be looking at, but if we want to be in, in retrospect, it did at least come back to the price point where it was broken out of. You can see a continuation from there. So that price is still relevant. And you can see the reactive move from there, the wicks to the downside and the rejection coming from the body of the candle. So all that does mean is this could give us a next entry. What I may think would happen next is we might get a very familiar pattern. It is called a head and shoulders pattern, because this corrective move after such a strong impulse is going to give us a nice corrective move. I do think that the move will at least reach the price of the left shoulder. So if you're looking for any form of entries to the downside, actually now I'm looking at it like this, yes, that would be your better idea. So if we can get a move like this, and obviously this is all subjective, right? We don't know if the market's going to do this. We're just trying to tell the future with every single trade that we place. So if I'm going to be a betting man, which I wouldn't say we're betting individuals, we're more professional and disciplined traders than we are betting and gamblers. But if I was to identify or try to see what the market's going to give me next, I would think it's that. So I do think that if we're looking at anything, NAS 100 or an NQ would be a continued sell, but wait for the corrective move to happen before you look at something like that. We can actually add, just for final confluence, I'll move on to something different right after this, but we can actually add our Fibonacci's as well. And right in between that range, that 61 and that 71, I love that area. Love that area a lot. So this would be considered our, at least, I know we're looking at buys on the higher time frame, but again, before we even get there, there's so much moves or so many moves that can be made before we get there. So sell kill zone. And the reason why I call it a sell kill zone is because that is exactly where I would be looking for potential trades if in fact this market does fruition in this way. So let me go take a look at the chats. You've been looking for sells. Jay, can you let me in? I just got home. What? Mr. Seeley, I have no idea what you're talking about. If can you let me in? I just got home. What you mean, bruh? You just got home, let you win. If you're talking about trades and everything, I mean, I haven't placed any trades. We're just going over everything. But I don't know who you is, and if you need to get into your crib, ask the people who live there. That was weird. Just to get my man said, "Can you let me in?" Man, I'll tell you right now. Somebody walk into this house right now. Put them up. All right, let me see. Nikki, yes, took a win earlier. Oh yes, Nikki, what's up? Okay, what's up? Yeah. Oh yeah. If you took the wins earlier from the sell, perfect. I know that we got into the buys a little bit earlier as well. But yes, I was looking for those sells, but at the time I was looking, the market was just kind of like and then it just ripped. The market just ripped to the downside. And as a rule of thumb, I don't like getting in at a low, and I know I could have just probably blindly sold this in the futures market, in any market really, and made profits. But as a disciplined trader, as somebody that, especially if you're trying to be consistent, especially if your only income is from your trades, you have to stay disciplined. You know, I don't like, selling at a low point. For me, especially if I'm trading futures, I would look for buys at this time because I would think that sellers, for the monetary time, sellers would be exhausted. But I do think that overall this will be very much a strong sell overall. But if we're looking at smaller time frame, yeah, I would think this is going to give us a little corrective buy. Honestly, right now, I actually do like the potential buy opportunity that's setting up now, to be very honest. So we'll do this. I'm just going to mark this up, right? I'm going to mark this up in a way that you guys could track this, because when we come back to this, I would not be surprised if this ended up being a strong buy. So if I was to buy right now, this is what my trade would look like. So if I was to remove all indicators, so my stop loss would be I wouldn't say very close. I was able to make my loss back today, you guys, for legacy students. So this morning, right before our session, our futures trading session, I was trading and I took like 4 losses in a row, and they weren't even supposed to be losses. And I had a total loss of 650, and I was able to make that loss back. And then I was able to make the loss back, and I'm up $250 for the day. So I'm not touching my account anymore. I don't want to get greedy. The last thing you ever want to do is, especially coming back from a deficit, is give that right back. So I'm just identifying this as if I was to place a trade with futures, but today not so much. But this is something I would be looking at is if I was to place a trade. So again, and with this being more in a corrective move, actually, let me scale out to the 1 hour time frame. With this, especially with a new candle right now forming, at least on the 1 hour, I do think that we will get more along the lines of that corrective move. So if you are trading futures, I would stay to the upside, look for buys. I'll let this settle a little bit because I just realized the new candle will open. But I still think that the corrective move will be more of the relevant idea, at least up to there, and at least back up to this level of structure as well. But I'll take a look at that as soon as I'm done with this. So, real quick, this Nate, what up? Oh, my man Nate, you scared the hell out of me. I was like, what the hell? What's good, Nate? All right, so yeah, if you guys have any other markets you guys want me to take a look at, feel free to let me know. I'll take a look at that. I know I just went crazy here with NAS 100 NQ futures. Still very much bearish. So if you are looking at this overall, I do think that we would be seeing a strong sell-off in this market. But yeah, we'll take a look at that here in a second as well. Let me go take a look at gold. One of my favorite markets to trade. And this is, oh, good thing, yeah. So this is something we were identifying before. I have everything. For some reason, I don't know why. If you go on TradingView on your other computers and stuff, and other accounts either get shut down, or if you delete it from that computer or something, it doesn't get deleted here. So that was something we were looking at previously. Now, I do want to take a look at gold because we have seen a strong outburst in gold. I don't want to say outburst, but a strong movement, strong volatility, and that's something that we always need in a market in order for us to be to look for trades. UJ, please. Actually, yeah, I'll take a look at USD JPY before I take a look at gold. But if you're looking at USD JPY, then you're just buying. Yeah, I mean, I know I was in sells on this before. I told you guys to like move stop loss to take profits. So good thing we were out of that trade before I continued to buy. I did think that there was going to be a little sell off there. Our entry was great at the time. For the entry, we moved in beautiful profits. But as you see here, that market just continued to buy. Now, what is your question with UJ? Because I don't really see much of a question that's needed on this. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean that if I want everybody to understand when they're trading, when you are trading, there's only a few things that you're going to need to be successful and to be consistent. I'm just going to be very honest with you guys. It's not hard. It's not hard to trade. It's not hard to identify and see what, or to call what you see, right? Let me see real quick. Okay. So yeah, what is your question with UJ? I do want to make sure I'm speaking on something that's relevant to make sure that you're getting the knowledge or answering the question specifically. You said you're trying to watch your YouTube on your 75-inch TV. Okay. All right. That's if you're trying to watch on a 75-inch flat screen TV, that's a cool flex. That's good. I don't think you're trying. I definitely think you could see everything going on even better than everybody who's watching it on their phone. So, yeah, good stuff. So what I'm doing is, what I want to make sure I'm doing is I'm making sure that I'm answering your question in a relevant manner, right? What's the first thing? And I want everybody here can participate. I want to hear everybody's input on this so that way I can see where everybody's at, and then we can kind of go from there, because it's important that I know everybody has a different skill level as far as trading is concerned. Some are beginners, some are intermediates, some are so much more experts that they're probably looking at me like, Jay, I work for the stock floor, I work for the government, everything you say is crazy. But at the end of the day, I want to see where everybody's at here. So what can everybody here tell me about USD JPY? Without a markup, without anything, what's the first thing we can identify? And I'm going to scale out to the daily time frame, because anytime we're trading, I want everybody to get used to this. Anytime you are trading, you are always going to want to scale to the higher time frame. You're always going to want to identify the overall picture. You're going to make it way easier to answer a lot of your questions by scaling out and seeing the bigger picture. So what is the first thing, if anybody wants to participate, if anybody wants to input, what is something that we can identify on this market right now? Because that's the biggest thing. That's important, right? Understanding the overall thing. Because once we understand that, 50% of the work here is absolutely done in this market. And I'll give everybody a little hint. I'll actually just scale in. And I'm just going to draw a line here. That line is so important. If you're like, how's that line important? I guarantee you this line is extremely important. Right? Even two lines. Let me actually just check the weekly really quick. Because if I'm correct, this is... okay, I was wrong. Okay. Either way, that's actually really good. Yeah, that's outstanding. So yeah, let me scale back, see what we have here. So there's a lot that we could take looking at the higher time frame to really answer the question, right? Let me see what we have in the chat real quick. Still a buy. Edward, yes. Terrell, bullish, yes. Linda, it's reached a new higher high. In this aspect, since it's been trending bullish, yes, it has reached a new higher high. You're absolutely correct. That's exactly why I drew that line out. Right? So that line being broken to the upside, it is creating a new high. Now, there is the idea of the wick up here being another high point, but the way that I identify it is you can't really consider that a high point if it was rejected, right? A high point is when the body of a candle, when actual price has broken and cleared. This right here, especially on a weekly time frame, if we close out tomorrow while this is broken above, that is still very much bullish. So everybody who said bullish, still a buy, absolutely correct. And that is what you look for on these higher time frames. That's the main thing we identify. Now, 50% of everything is done, right? The bigger picture's done. What we're trying to identify is done. Is it buying or selling? That's the question we're always trying to answer when we jump onto the charts. Are we buying? Are we selling today? If we look at the higher time frames and we look at this chart, we know it's buying. So not only is 50% of the work done for us because we know the direction, but now we have 50% of the market working in our favor, because what we're doing is we're stacking probabilities in our favor every time we're trying to trade. So if I'm looking at this and I know 50% is done, the market is bullish, so I should be looking for buys. Where should my entries be? That is it. Your question is answered. Market's buying. You should be looking for buys. Where would you buy from? So let me check the chat real quick, make sure that we're good. In a buy, making sure I'm looking at the market right. Bullish trend, double top. Where do you see a double top when you check the higher time frames being broken? This is what I mean. Check the higher time frames. That dictates everything. Double top, there is no double top. Where? I'm looking at it right now. Bullish trend double top. Absolutely, there is no double top to be found. Not one. No double top on the daily. No double top on the 4 hour. No double top on the 2 hour. No double top. So you're seeing that completely incorrect in the manner, right? If you're in a buy, stay in the buy. This is the thing. Understand this. If you're in profits on a trade, you're right. That's it. You don't. I understand that a lot of us, we get fearful and we're like, oh man, I'm in a buy. Let me just get somebody else's confirmation and fuck what everybody else thinks, right? Doesn't matter. You should know that you're right if you're in profits. If you place the trade down here and you're in that much profits and you ask somebody, I don't know, am I right? Is that a buy? Answer your own question. And that's not just to be rude. I'm just giving you guys how you should fucking be and how you should treat this when you're on your own. Because nobody's going to hold your hand and tell you this every day. I know I'm doing these sessions, so maybe I can. But at the end of the day, if you're in a trade and you're all the way down here and you're like, damn, you know what? Let me get 30 other fucking opinions and see if I'm correct. If you're in profits, if you're making money, if you're going in the direction of the trend, if you look at it and you're like, oh, that looks like a buy, call a spade a spade. Right? Don't second guess yourself. Don't be fearful. Don't now if you bought right here, then yeah, I'd question that, because there has to be a reason behind entry. But don't do that. That goes for everybody. Don't place a trade and give a fuck what anybody else says. If you are correct, there's a reason why you're correct. And if somebody's like, oh no, that's a sell, there's a reason why they're not making money on that right now. So that's me being very real. That's me giving you something that you could take for yourself. That goes for everybody. You know what I mean? Trading is a very lonely sport, if you will. It's very lonely. At the end of the day, yeah, there are people that you could go to. I'm a resource. We have our group. We have our people. I do help people. But at the end of the day, once I'm off of this call, once we're not on our live sessions, once I'm not sending signals, once I'm out for the day, you're on your own. So you have to be able to understand those simple things. I know it has really nothing to do with becoming a better trader in the aspect of an entry, but it's going to help you with the psychology and the managing of a trade aspect. So that goes for everybody. Just understand that. That's just me being real. That's real knowledge. It's real shit. Linda, looks to continue in the way of the bull into next week as well. Well, this is the thing. Don't try to say, oh, it's going to be bullish until next week. It can be. It very much can. Well, but the last thing we as traders are ever going to try to do is time something, right? A lot of individuals, they'll be like, yo, this is going to be bullish at this time at 2:15 and 14 seconds. It's not how that works. Yes, I do think it'll remain bullish. Will it remain bullish up until next week? I mean, say it's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. Probabilities is will, you know what I mean? But just be very careful with that. Don't try to time everything, because sometimes you're like, oh, it's going to be bullish, and it's not. But I do want to take a quick look at gold really fast. Let me check the comments and everything real fast. You were looking at small time frames. Don't look at small time frames. Bigger time frame, more confluence, stronger the trade, the better and more patient you will remain on all of your trades as well. Keeping it real, King. Thank you. Always, always, always. Actually, for everybody on here as well, there's another YouTube streamer that I just came across, and he put something out very, he was very real. He was like, look, why do I care about if anybody else gets likes for my stream? If I could help somebody else, and I was like, I've never seen somebody as real as how I keep it on the stream. So I do want to give that guy's YouTube link out after this. I forgot what it was, but I did subscribe, so I'll put that in the YouTube for you guys. But just more resources, more value for you guys. Because again, I think that with the only thing I really care about is seeing everybody succeed and becoming more profitable on their own. So if you guys can use other resources, and I'll be able to do that. But I do want to take a quick look here at gold. I'm mad because let me see this. I took profits on this on our auto trader. Market started kind of going a little crazy, so I had to take profits on everything. So we ended up pretty decent for the day. But I did get into like some buys roughly around this area here, and then it just kind of got stagnant. Now, the reason why I'm explaining this is because I do think that this will continue to be a buy. Reason being is when NAS 100 is selling, gold is buying. They're inverse pairs, inverse correlated. So when gold is pushing up, so NAS is pushing lower. Now, that wasn't really the case for a bit because NAS was pushing much, much higher, and actually gold was doing a little number to the upside as well during the time. But since I do think that gold or NAS 100 is pushing down lower, I believe that we will have more bullish opportunities here with gold. Now, the reason why I'm explaining this is because I will be looking for re-entries roughly around this area here. I do think that when a market or when you are trading, the best times to enter or the best ways to enter are at levels of structure and where confluence can be made. So when I was marking this up earlier, I did identify, if I'm correct, let me just, I did look at this, yeah, was this, okay. So there was the idea that this trend line here was broken, at least on the small time frame. Now, I get the question of, Jay, why are you always using the 1 hour time frame for the majority of your markups? Because I understand the higher time frame analysis where I understand whether it's bullish, bearish, or ranging. So I'm not going to need the higher time frame to do much of a markup, right? If I understand the general direction, whether it's trending or whether it's sideways, I can do my analysis on the smaller time frames, being the 1 hour, 15 minute, if you will, to get my detailed work, right? To understand the overall market, or not the overall market, my overall trade entry, if I will. Because the overall market, yes, the direction is found on the higher time frames, but the technical detail, the actual finer work is done on these smaller time frames. So I at least go on the 1 hour, because on the 4 hour, yeah, you could do it, but on the 1 hour, for me, at least personally, I feel like I can see more intricate movements. I feel like I can see the structure better. And then as soon as I mark that up, I'll use all the time frames with my markup to find me confluence. But what I am looking at is the trend line break above this area of structure, or the trend line break above this trend line rather, and also the break above this initial structure. So let me do this really fast. So me being able to see the break above that trend line and also above that level of structure, that's telling me that buyers are still very much within this market. And so what I am going to do is no longer am I going to have this bearish or this bearish trend line. I will now go ahead and add a bullish trend line, at least for this time frame and at least for the future, because anytime you are looking to enter a trade, because I know everybody's always wondering about, Jay, where do I enter? Where do I buy or sell? You're always going to enter your trade off of your analysis. So if your analysis looks something like this, where you have your structure mapped out because you know that this used to be a level of resistance and can now end up as a level of support. And if it comes back to that level of structure alongside this trend line, so if it does something like this, let's say it shoots up to here, because where I believe the corrective move will start is around this area. Let's say it does that, and then it comes right back down and hits your level of structure alongside that trend line. And even now, let's say you add your fib. Obviously, we can't do that, but just for educational purposes, if you have even further confluence, let's say that 78.6, you have that structure, you have that trend line, you have an entry. Does that make sense? Right? You're always trying to enter a trade as far as with low probabilities, meaning low drawdown. So even if you have a small account, you can place a decent size, investment to make more money, and also the risk reward. Let's say you did enter here and it lost. Let's say you did enter here as a buy. Your stop loss is going to go right below there. So your risk reward is not that much. right? And then your first take profit will be at those highs. So it's important that you understand that aspect as well when trading. It's not always about getting the most accurate entry. It's also about making sure that you're getting proper risk to reward. So that way when I place my trade, it's not a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2. I can get a 1-to-4, a 1-to-6, a 1-to-8 just by identifying confluence in this manner. So just taking a quick look at gold, identifying the potential future movement of what this market can give us. But at least right now, if you are looking at gold, especially if you're trading smaller time frames, you should be looking at continued buys at least up until this area of structure here. And this is just a simple markup. Let me get rid of this so nobody thinks there's a trade there. And I'll actually just draw this up in a sense where, boop. Let me fix my keyboard before that falls. Since we have broken higher above structure and trend line, we look for continued buys until next level of price. Very simple. If I have any grammatical errors, it's okay. You understand exactly what I meant. So that is what we're looking at here. So we can actually just fill that in as a structure points. Right? Oh, that doesn't look that great, actually. So we'll get rid of that. So perfect. Right? Since we have broken higher above a level of structure in the trend line, we look for continued buys until the next structure price, which is here. Now, if you're wondering, Jay, what happens when we get to the structure price, so it says resistance, you can either sell, right? Because after a strong impulsive move, there's usually a corrective move, right? So after that corrective move or that impulsive move, you could potentially sell back down to here and buy from there. So this is why I mark up my charts the way that I do. The way that I mark it up is always going to help me find a great opportunity. And as you see, all I'm doing is just using a simplistic approach to the markets, just price. And when I identify price, confluence around that level of structure. Now, if I don't have a trend line or a fib or anything around that level of price, the next thing that you would use, and the one thing that you should always be using, is your candlesticks. The behavior of your candlesticks, do they look like they're rejecting that level of structure? Does it look like buyers are exhausted? Does it look like sellers are taking over by leaving, bearish engulfing candles or large wicks to the upside at that level of resistance? So at least with gold, this is what I'll be looking for in this market for the meantime. So it'll look something like this. If we could sell from this point, our stop loss will go right above the highs here. Take profit will be there. I mean, that's a beautiful trade setup. And then let's say that did work out and we have to take profits. Then you can go ahead and look for that buy. A nice little double up. Stop loss being at the lows. Take profit being at least back up to those highs. And if broken, you continue. And vice versa. If there is no buys, let's say this level of structure is broken, you just got another price point down there for take profits. This is exactly why it's important that you guys understand the simplistic idea and approach of just using structure and price, the highs, the lows, the peaks, the valleys of the market, so that way you can be more consistent and more profitable within your own individual trading. Let me see what we have real quick. All right, nothing in the comments. But yeah, any other questions, any other comments, anything else you guys need, any other markets you want me to take a look at, feel free to let me know. I definitely got you. If not, I'll see if there's any other potential trade opportunities in this market. There were a few. I was looking at AUD JPY sells, and that thing has just skyrocketed. But I might actually be looking for another attempt at those sells on AUD JPY, but nothing as of yet. But yeah, I am taking a look at the comments. I know that you guys were in there previously, so if I am taking a look, or if you guys have anything, I am taking a look. Feel free to let me know, and I definitely got you. Oh, I'm on the 4 hour, so let me actually scale to the 1 hour. And I'm just looking at the 1 hour just so that way I can see movement a little bit better, just see what the market's initially offering us. And I have not been a fan of these markets as of late because they've been kind of just stuck, consolidated. When they do give you volatility, the volatility is only coming through news. And obviously, I personally do not trade during news. When was this? I forgot about this. I think, yeah, we already took profits on that as well. So yeah, if there's anything that you guys need, feel free. If not, we'll conclude for today. I do want to make sure, again, I'm just doing these sessions, really make sure that you guys are becoming as profitable as possible, and just giving back as much knowledge and information back to the trading community, because I know how crazy this is. I know how the community can be. I do know that there are not as many resources that we wish there could be out there. And I do want to at least make sure that I'm giving back as some consistent value, some knowledge, and really helping out to the best of my abilities. Yeah, and if you got any knowledge, if you got any information, if there's something that you've learned on these calls, again, just please, it helps out big time. Just share, like the video. It definitely helps. I'll be doing these every day. I'm going to see how I can not change up the time, but see if I can alter the time to make it a little bit earlier, so that way we have more people on. I know a lot of people struggle to get on during the afternoon, which I definitely understand. I'm already 2 hours behind from East Coast time, so it's 11:20 for me. So I'm up every day at 3:30, 4 in the morning trading. Before I trade with students, and then after students, I'm trading and teaching you guys. So it's a very extensive and long day for me. So if I could try to fit it in a little bit earlier, I'll try to do that as well. But it seems like everybody in the comments is good, or it seems like everybody's solid. So again, just if you have anything, feel free to let me know. If not, we'll conclude here in a second. Again, I just want to make sure that I'm giving back as much information and as much knowledge as I possibly can in the markets. Now, I do want to see NAS 100 or NQ, if you will, before we conclude. I wanted to see if there's a potential trade. And I already hear everybody going crazy outside. Apologize for all the noise outside. They're doing so much like landscaping and like just renovating things around the house. So I do apologize for that. I wanted to see if there was a potential trade on NQ before we concluded. I do like these sells here, to be completely honest. I know I was looking for buys before, but when using smaller time frames on NQ or just in general, you're always going to be looking at, you know, the market shifting in different directions all the time. So I think this might end up just continuing to sell. I don't think we're going to get much buys off of this, to be completely honest. All right, seems like everybody's Gucci, and I know everybody here is. He's my man outside with the power drills and the power tools. I should get out there too, help him out, because I need to be outside. It's so beautiful outside. We live in Utah, so it's like beautiful outside, man. I love being outside. I love going on hikes. I love doing all that. So I'll be outside out here in a second. It's beautiful. It's not too hot, not too cold. It's like 70 degrees out today, so it's actually absolutely gorgeous. So I'll be outside as soon as we're done with this session. If there is no trade subs, and obviously as I'm out there, I got Wi-Fi with me as I drive, and I have my laptop with me all the time. So if there is a trade, if there is something, I'll be able to put that out as a signal for everybody in the Discord. I will also be posting. I'll be making, or not making, I already have a nice little schedule, nice little plan on what I'll be doing in the free side of the Discord as well. And we do have, somebody just posting profits and reviews, but I will be making sure that I add some things here, so that way, even if you're not a legacy student, you can still get tons of benefit and tons of knowledge here from our Discord. I don't have a link to the Discord yet, but I will be posting a link to the Discord in our Facebook group, and also on in the Discord as well, if anybody wants to share that with anybody. But I'll be making sure that I add some analysis, some Forex analysis, some recorded videos of analysis and markets that I do believe may be beneficial even after we get off a session, just so that way you guys can stay updated with any and all analysis and any and all movement within the markets. Again, just to give back as much value and as much profits to you guys as I possibly can. Biggest thing for me is yes, I do run a service, I do run a business, but at the end of the day, I don't believe in I do believe in transparency, and I don't believe in asking somebody to give if I cannot give to them first. So I want to make sure that if anything, as we build this community, I build it off transparency, value, and obviously tons and tons of profits. So I want to make sure that I can make you guys as much money as possible, and I also want to make sure that I give you as much knowledge as possible. If you could do this on your own, eventually, if you're just on these sessions as long as you possibly can be, if you're on these every single day, you're gaining as much knowledge, you're learning how to trade, you're finding what the best entries are, you're learning what tools to use and how to use them, and you're able to do this on your own, that works for me as well. That's all I care about. So let me see what we have in the chat real quick. Did you cover Bitcoin? I have not. I don't cover cryptos, honestly. Cryptos, to me, I wouldn't say cryptos are dead, but I mean that's not something you should be trading, so I don't cover that. I just invest. I invest in cryptos when I think it's the best time. But no, I have not gone over Bitcoin. That's not something I personally go over or trade. I just personally invest into it. I don't do any technical analysis. I don't look at the trend. I don't look at the fundamentals. I don't know anything about crypto as far as, I'm just a trader. I look at technical standpoints on any market. I don't care much about the fundamentals, which I do believe cryptos are more fundamentally based than technical, to be completely honest. So I have not looked at that. That's not something I trade, and that's not something I would look at because, again, I just invest into it. If you do trade it, cool. Just be very careful. It is a volatile market. I know you can make a lot of money with that, but I know you can lose a lot of money with that as well, depending on the broker that you are using. So, yeah, I'd be very careful with that. Jay, I appreciate you so much. I'm up 500 for the week. Let's go. I know, Nikki, you're trading futures with us. I'm so happy to see you being extremely successful with our futures. Let me actually go ahead and, as we're here, somebody posted in profits and reviews. Hey, that's you, Nikki. Look at that. You're 500 in profits for the week. Now I know, you're the one placing your Nas trades in Forex, right? I was just saying that we had somebody that they didn't even have a futures account. They're trading in their Forex broker, and look at that. You have made 500 for the week. That's beautiful. Love to see it. So there you go. Live transparency right there on our session from one of our legacy students. This is all our profits and reviews. You can see here just somebody earlier today, 3 funded accounts, working on 2 more. They're making money. Somebody branded 360 profit in total on 3 of their accounts, and some of them are funded. So just success all around the board as far as futures and our futures trading is concerned, and just overall even with our signals. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Nikki, I'm very happy to see that you're seeing success with the group. Even if it's just a Forex broker, you're still making money. And even so, since it is a Forex broker, you can withdraw that. So do me a favor, Nikki, if you can, take out at least half of that. Take 250, go enjoy, and let me know if you do take out the 250 so that way I can give you a nice round of applause, give you a nice clap, pat on your back. And just for that, if you do take out a withdrawal, you might win a giveaway. You might win something just for that. Because for me, if I see you being successful, if I see you progressing, I want to make sure that I enforce that, make you a little bit more, I would say, confident with your own individual trading. And I want you to enjoy your money. So if you can't take a withdrawal, if you can't take at least 250 of that out, might as well. Go ahead. Enjoy it as always. She says, yes, sir. Hell yeah. Edward, what's the difference between a Forex broker and futures? One's for Forex, one's for futures. So, yeah. There's a big difference. I'm just a trader. And I'm not saying this to sound fucked up, but just being very honest, that's literally, you can copy and paste that into Google and you get a better answer than I can give you. You know what I mean? I'm just here to educate you on how to become better traders. Everything extra, like the definition of Fibonacci, who created the Forex markets, what does a Japanese candlestick mean? I don't know anything like that. So I can't give you the best answer, but honestly, you got ChatGPT, you got AI, they'll give you a way better answer than I could. I promise you. Trust me. But yeah, I mean, there's huge differences between them, honestly. So I can't if I was to try to break it down, it'll take a while. So yeah, just simply Google that, man. Honestly, that's a lot of the stuff that you guys ask me. I'm like, you guys can Google that. You know what I mean? Like, Jay, what's NT4? I'll tell them it's a trading terminal. What's a trading terminal? It's the bridge between. What's the bridge? I'm like, all right, now there's a point where I just don't know. So yeah, your biggest bet. Yeah, definitely check Google. I wish I can give you an accurate answer on that. Will do. Perfect. Yeah, definitely. Nikki, if you could take a withdrawal, definitely take a withdrawal. That's important. Enjoy your money. And that goes for everybody. If we have any other legacy students here, especially if you're funded, especially if you've been trading futures and you're funded and you can't take a withdrawal, please take a withdrawal. Enjoy your profits. Enjoy your money. It's very important that you guys do that, because at the end of the day, for one, it'll inspire you to continue to trade. I know a lot of us, when we start trading, we're just like, we get we get angry, we get discouraged, we get impatient, especially when we lose, when we're not succeeding, when we're not, in the green, not making money. But don't ever let that be the case. Anytime that you can pay yourself, definitely pay yourself. Make sure you're making as much money as possible, and don't give any money back to the market, Nikki. No more trading for today for you. Don't give anything back. If you see me send a signal out or something, just sit in your hands, chill for a little bit, don't do anything. Make sure that you're staying consistent. That's what makes us profitable, the consistency behind trading. If you're consistent behind your trading, you're profitable at all times. Even if you lose 4 days in a row, Monday through Thursday, and if you come back with those small losses, if you take small losses, but you're consistently catching big trades, and you come back Friday, you lost 100 pips on all your trades previously, but you're catching 300 pips on a Friday, it can happen. As long as you're consistent behind that, that's all that matters. So, yeah, with that being said, everybody, we'll conclude for today. We'll catch back on tomorrow. Tomorrow being Friday, I'll see if we do an earlier session, just because the markets will be closing around, not around this time, but there will be no volatility during, close to market close. But what we can do is jump on another session I'll answer any and all questions, markups and charts. Really make sure that I give back any and all information, and really just give back to you guys. Really make sure you guys are good. But yeah, with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much. I appreciate every last one of you. If you have any questions at any point, feel free to hit me up at any time, whether it's Discord, Facebook. If you don't have either one of those, you can just leave a comment here on YouTube. I'll make sure that I respond directly and in person for you, and guide you into the best direction I possibly can. But if you do have contact with me, get in contact with me at any point. Best way is possible for you, and I definitely got you. But with that being said, thank you guys. I'll bow out. Appreciate every last one of you guys. Tell somebody you love them, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks, guys. Appreciate all of you.